Today I picked up the Razor Moped Purple Edition. This is the girly one, and I'm going to be turning this into an ultimate sleeper build monster. There's also a black model of this, which looks a little bit meaner, but I think this one's going to be so funny since it's like girly and it looks like a slow kid's toy, and I'm going to try to get this thing to push at least 40 miles per hour. So if you already haven't noticed, on the back here where the swing arm type of thing is, there is no wheel. So it came with a bag with some stuff in it. Now it has a Supermoto wheel, and there is some plastic chips under here on this Sprocket like plastic guard. Also comes with a dirt tire, some other guards, a bag of parts, and whatever that is. I think it's like some chain tensioner thing, not totally sure. But back to the main moped, we are going to tear all of the plastics off and see the frame underneath. All right, this is what we wanted to see right here. So they have the batteries stacked on top of the motor and the controller right here. You saw me cut these two wires already, but this is what we needed to see underneath the plastic. So they have like a heavy duty aluminum frame, and I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna mount this motor in and how many watts I'm gonna be able to push. Anyways, the next step is to actually keep tearing in more and get these batteries out of there. I've just been cutting through everything because like nothing seems to come apart, and it's all like welded together pretty much from all these years of sitting in the garage. Next step is to get the motor out. Pulling out the motor wire, and now I have to cut the zip tie right here because it's holding the motor in. And now it is free. There's like grass and stuff in there, and the whole center of balance changed on this thing. I'm gonna have to move it further forward on the stand like that. Now there is brakes right here. I'm gonna see if they work. Squeezing it. So they do. I'm gonna wanna put some hydraulic brakes on here though, I think. So I think the next step is to see what kind of motor I can fit in here. I'm gonna try a regular 2DO motor and maybe eventually put like a Sotion one in. Now I'm gonna take the controller off. There's two more plugs. One of these I think is a brake sensor, and the other is definitely the throttle. Now this right here is an ETM motor. It is a 4300 watt. This goes on an E-Box 72 volt kit. Now I'm thinking about something like this that'll slide in, kind of like that. Here's a better angle on how that would look. Now to continue this build, I'm gonna need a sprocket that is a little bit bigger than this roller chain. I'm gonna need like a 420, and this is kind of stripping out already, but I'm gonna have to take this off and see what's underneath it. I kept stripping these out with a screwdriver, so I ended up getting a socket, which works way better. Now this just got a lot trickier because as I'm spinning this, you could see the nut on the end of that bolt there spins as well. All right, this part literally took like 10 minutes, I'm not even kidding. You have to get the pliers through the other side, through the spokes. But anyway, they should be able to come off. And now, I need to get a new sprocket that is going to fit this, and that's where I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a 420 chain that is gonna go ahead and work with this as well. As you can see, I put the wheel on, and this is the sprocket that I'm gonna be changing out. I just put it on there to see how the motor will line up. Now, I plan on using a 2DO motor, so I'm gonna have to grind this top piece out to get it in. I've already tried without it, and it wants to fit. I have to take the sprocket off, but I'm not gonna do that. All right, let's get to grinding. All right, this piece is now out. I'm gonna leave this in. It shouldn't make an issue. I'm gonna see if I can finish it off though with this grinder. There we go, much cleaner. All right, it's back inside and it looks good. Now, here is a regular 2DO motor. This came out of the 2DO that I built that has the EBMX on it. Now I have a Sotion in that one. This will be a placeholder for now. And if this video does good enough, I'll probably throw a Sotion motor in this thing. So as you can see, it's not going to fit like that, which is why come down to the top. And once it's here, you can twist it just like that. And you can see how back heavy it got already, so I'm going to need to move this. So if you didn't fully get that, let me give you a closer view. There is the motor compared to the tire. Absolutely huge. Now I'll need to replace that sprocket, and I think this motor needs to go over a little bit more because right now this sprocket right here is going to hit this metal. I have an upgraded gold chain on my 2DO, so I decided just to pull the old one out of the bag in the garage, and this is what that looks like. Now obviously this is still the wrong sprocket, not a new day or anything, and I'm going to slide this on. Now over to the motor. Hook that. This is pretty much what it's going to be like right here. I'll tighten it a little bit more. That's kind of what we're looking at. I am ordering a sprocket. Hopefully that's my tonight plan. I've been looking at a bunch, and the holes on this one do not line up to any that I've seen on Amazon. So I might have to custom make one or drill some of my own holes. I will figure something out. We're going to make this build work. I just fully took the sprocket off and took the plastic guard piece off as well. Here is our brand new 420 chain sprocket. Now the holes of course do not line up. So I laid this on here at an angle, marked the Sharpie holes. You can kind of see them faintly. There's one and another. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill press those out to put the new screws in. Done drill pressing, and there are my 4 new holes. I tried to make this look as clean as possible, and now we're gonna line this up on here. Mark some motor holes that I'm going to be drilling, and now we're going to get into it. All right, the sprocket's on. I had to get some new bolts at a store, and you can see it wants to catch right there. So either I push something up right here, or I let that kind of eat away at that motor metal, and then it'll be free. So I have the motor in, and I have an EBMX just as a test here. So I'm gonna hook up the wires to see if this thing will spin, and the bolt won't even fit through this hole, so I'm gonna have to grind that out real quick. But other than that, motor is like fully on there. I drilled through the bottom. I only got 2 bolts in, so I only have the 2 that are up on the front, but it doesn't seem to move at all, so I shouldn't have to do the other ones. It's crazy just looking at this thing and seeing that there is a 420 chain on here. This is like a motorcycle chain pretty much. This is what you see on a Sur-Ron. Another huge issue I just realized, it's not really just the chain there. These bolt heads are a little too long for that metal coming down. You can see where they're rubbing, especially down this way. So I'm gonna take this wheel off and grind this entire piece out, top and bottom. Now that piece is removed, it looks so much cleaner, but this piece down here, the chain just caught on. So, trying to get a better angle for you guys. Right there, it's caught. So I gotta take everything back off and go out in the garage and grind that piece off as well. Here it is calibrating. You can see the chain is tensioned really well and it looks amazing. I just set the cover on here and you can tell that this thing has definitely been tampered with and does not look normal. Now I'm pretty sure that Sotion has a purple motor, and I probably will end up getting that if this video does good. So make sure to like down below and let's keep this series going. We have to get the throttle off to make this thing actually work. So I went ahead and just loosened up the bolt, and now I'm pulling this grip off. The twist technique is the way to do it. And then I'm gonna let this hang since I'm not gonna take off these purple plastics on the front quite yet. And I got a new delivery today, and that is this white box. So in here is a carbon fiber Sur-Ron twist throttle, brand new. And it has this plug, which is what we need to go into the EBMX wiring harness. Sliding it on, that fits so perfectly. Now I'm gonna tighten these 2 bolts down and plug it in. Plugging that in, and now we should be connected. All right, I officially got this thing on, and the hall sensor down there is actually hanging, so the motor's gonna click a little bit in the beginning when I give it throttle. Anyway, I hooked up the A grinder and adjusted the gear ratio in the app, and I'm gonna rev this thing up. Moving on to a really fun part, and that's gonna be mounting the EBMX controller. Now, I did drill a little hole marker here and there. I'm gonna fully drill those through, and you'll see how I connect the top part of the EBMX controller. Halfway through, and I think I changed my mind because this piece is gonna cover that up and completely ruin it. So I'm gonna lay the EBMX in here, cut this back portion out and stick half of it through so it'll actually be under the seat. All right, this box is a little dirty, but I have my torch and I'm gonna heat up this scissor that I took apart. That's taking a little long, so I'm gonna hop in here with the jigsaw. This is not really preferable, but that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna set the controller in this way, feed the wires out. It's close, but I need to widen this a little bit more. The better way to do this was to shove the top part in. So I'll have my wires hanging out the bottom here. Now, once I actually connect them, I'm probably gonna push this in a little bit further, but it's not really gonna go anywhere. We were caught on something, I didn't know what, but it's this little screw hidden over here. And it's gotta be the same on the other side as well. This is what it looks like with only a few plastics on the front right here. And I really don't want to take these off. So I'm gonna run my wiring down right where they did and just get the old ones out. Grips just came off, everything else did. Sliding these brakes, come off with the brake sensors as well. And it's honestly fitting the chrome bar theme right now that everybody's been doing that trend. So this is looking really good. This is what we're looking at now, and I know what you're thinking. Where's the battery gonna go? So since I'm gonna be using a chai battery in this thing, I'm probably just gonna put it in between my legs and set it there when I ride until I find a better way to do it. But we're gonna have the controller under here and the EBMX, throttle, and thumb regen button all go down and under here. So now it's time to kind of wire this thing up. And EBMX is mounted in there. Most of the wiring harness I'm setting up in this area and on top of the motor, so this is as compact as it can get. Now, to screw these wires in, these are the motor wires, they gotta go right here. So I'm gonna take the back tire off so I can access this. One of the things I've been waiting on is these power wires from Amazon. These are just regular Sur-Ron ones. And I'm not gonna run a breaker, so these exposed ends right here, I'm gonna have to connect together. Just got done doing my breaker delete on this thing. Looks pretty good. And now we're gonna screw it in. I have an interesting way that I wanna be able to turn this thing on. So on the original piece, there's this on and off switch. Now with the Sur-Ron wiring harness, you need a Sur-Ron key. So for now, I'm gonna actually just wire up this on-off switch to turn the thing on and off. Here's my wiring rig up for that. Got these two white wires. We're now gonna screw the back tire on again. Clean up the wires and you can see how much better this looks. I'm now gonna set the back plastic piece on and then we're gonna plug this thing in. This is a rough test before I actually hook any of the plastics up fully. Set the chai on, it gets super front heavy. Flip it on. EBMX fires up. After this tune, we have something that finally works. Everything has been screwed in and it looks amazing. Now you can see the wires that hang out where I'm gonna set the battery. And we're missing one thing, and that is up on these handlebars. Grips. So I got none other than some purple ODIs. Let's get these things on. Had to put some soap in these grips because they do not slide on otherwise. This build is pretty much complete besides the Sotion motor that isn't in there yet. I'm sure I'll come up with some other fun things I could do with this as well. Maybe like even making the headlight work. And I'm gonna bring this thing to the city and ride it even and see what people think of it, especially some of the other Sur-Ron kids. Now, these grips look amazing on here. They're like a different shade of purple, but it fits so well. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. This is the entire build. Stay tuned for the next one where I'm going to be riding this thing outside. It is ready to rip. See y'all in the next video.